Back in those days, we communicated by Morse code, and we navigated, I say we, the navigating officers, navigated by the stars and the sun. There was none of this GPS stuff.
Ian Greaves was a Merchant Navy radio officer at 18 years old, responsible for carrying essential equipment, fuel, goods, and people around the world. As part of the Burl Oak Naval Veterans Association, he was in Spencer Smith Park this morning to honor the merchant marines whose lives were lost during the Battle of the Atlantic.
We remember the merchant mariners from September 3rd, 39, right through until May of 1945, and that's why we commemorate Merchant Navy Day on September the 3rd. It was the start of World War II and the beginning of the Battle of the Atlantic.
The casualty rate for the merchant mariners during the Battle of the Atlantic was 1 in 7, a higher percentage than any of Canada's fighting services, yet they did not receive the same benefits or recognition.
They didn't get recognized as a service veterans until 1992. And most of them were in their 80s. And finally the government allowed to give them pensions like the regular armed forces people, because if you were in the merchant navy and your ship was sunk in the middle Atlantic, your pay ended. So your wife and kids at home didn't get paid until you went on another ship. And if you didn't go on another ship, you lost your life or you take prisoner of war, no pay. Whereas armed forces people still got paid. So they went through hell, actually, and they should be recognized, and they finally are.
Mike Wenzel served in the Royal Canadian Navy, but he explains that today is reserved specifically in memory of the Merchant Navy.
Well, it's just a remembrance. Like we have Battle Atlantic for the Navy and Merchant Navy, but this is Merchant Navy Day. This is just for them. We just show up because we're sailors, same as they were, and we escorted them. So they depended on us for the safe passage, and sometimes, unfortunately, we couldn't do a good job. So they sunk the warships, they sunk merchant ships, and everything. So it was a terrible time. It's going on again, but unfortunately people died during war.
Despite all the valiant efforts, about 1,500 Canadian merchant mariners lost their lives during the Battle of the Atlantic. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading.
Burl Oak Naval Vets